Hi everybody, this is Lance with Dugongxin and the production section of the Duolingo. Now this video breaks down the techniques that you need to utilize in order to speak about an image effectively. I hope this video helps.
For describe an image, you'll see an image on your screen, something like this that appears. There'll be an image with most likely a person in the middle of the picture and some kind of familiar background. Then there'll be a record button. You'll have 20 seconds to prepare, and then you'll also be speaking for 30 seconds to 90 seconds. The recording will start automatically after 20 seconds or until you push the record button. Okay, so let's look at some basic techniques that can help you get through this and be able to score well. I'm going to break it down into 4 steps. Sometimes when people see an image, they're a little bit overwhelmed on where to start, but we're going to break it down into 4 steps, and hopefully that will help you get through it. The first step is called general information, how to look at an image and just talk about the information generally. The second step is location. Describe where they are. Describe the surroundings. Part 3 is description, using descriptive adjectives and descriptive language and colors and clothing to be able to explain the details of the image. And the last part is called speculation. This means that you should have some ability to tell a story about what you think is happening in the picture. So let's go through each step. Let's talk about general information. Now, this is the first sentence that you're going to say about the overall image, okay? Let me give you a few examples. This image shows a man and a woman. Well, where it is a complete sentence and grammatically correct, that's a poor example of your first sentence when explaining this. This image shows a man and a woman looking at a computer. A little bit better, it has a little bit more detail, but it's still not as good as we can do. This image shows a man and a woman looking at a computer sitting outside a balcony. So now we have a little bit of location of where they are, so that's a little bit better. But what you're aiming for is something like this. This image shows a man and a woman looking at a computer sitting outside on a balcony, and they appear to be excited. So it's definitely a better example of what you want to say for the first sentence. So what you're doing is you're describing the people, what they are doing, and again, you're going to be speaking in present tense. So you're going to be speaking in sitting, standing, looking, drinking, smiling, okay? And you want to give a little bit of information about where they are and how you think they feel. They appear to be excited. They seem to be. They look frightened by something they see. Whatever that may be, you want to address that in here. So it's the image shows a man and a woman looking at a computer, sitting outside on a balcony, a little bit of location, and they appear to be excited. Okay, so let's go to the next step, which is called the location. Here's where we begin to describe the surroundings and or the background. And there's a few ways to do this. The first way that you could do it is you could explain from left to right, or you could talk from right to left. So you could explain the details in the background from the left side moving all the way to the right side moving to the left. Again, we don't want to just label images in the back. There's a tree, there's some leaves, there's a railing, there's a woman, there's a computer. We don't want to do that. So we want to do it systematically. That's why our approach here with using the general information and then going to location is more helpful and structured. You could do top to bottom or bottom to top. You could actually divide the picture into 4 parts, and you could say top left, top right, bottom left. What I like best is to use far to near or near to far. So moving from the background into the foreground, in the background behind them, moving forward. Okay? And what's important here is we want to use adverbs of place, normally prepositions, adverbs of place that describe where the items are in relationship to the others. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. For adverbs of place, on top, on top of, above, at the top, to the left, to the right. To the right of the computer, there's a water glass. In the center, in the middle of the picture. Under, beneath, underneath, below. So it would be important for you to remember and to memorize many of these adverbs of place. I suggest you take a look at some of these here and memorize them and practice with items in your house, learning how they are related to others. In the background, in the foreground, in front of, directly opposite, exactly in the middle of, roughly in the middle of, in close proximity to, just above, parallel to. Again, these adverbs of place help us to explain location. The idea is that the person that's listening to you and evaluating you should be able, when after your explanation, to open their eyes and be able to see what it is you've seen. Okay? We want to use what's called descriptive language in the adverbs of place. So the descriptive language in this paragraph is in green, and the adverbs of place are in blue. So here we say, in the background of this image, there are beautiful green trees that cover the area, and the weather looks pleasant and warm. In front of the trees, a black fence surrounds the porch in which they sit. The man is wearing a gray jacket and a blue shirt, while the woman next to him is wearing overalls and a white shirt and a white t-shirt. A glass of water sits on the table next to their laptop. So again, the adverbs of place, the prepositional phrases, and the descriptive language of adjectives that describe the nouns. Beautiful green trees. If you can say beautiful green trees instead of just trees, you'll score higher. A black fence, a gray jacket, a blue t-shirt, a white t-shirt. Okay? So this covers the area of location. That's the second part. Let's move on to the third section, and it's speculation. Okay? And this is the last section. This rates your ability to be able to tell a story of what you think is happening in the picture. Now, we don't want to speculate on everything, but from what we've seen from most of the images is that the people are normally in everyday situations. You won't really see people frightened or scared or terrified, so it's important to use descriptions and speculations of common everyday expressions. So let's take a look. Don't speculate on everything. Why is something happening right now? We want to use what's called modal verbs. Probably, suppose, maybe, I think. Okay? So when we view this image, we can take a few guesses. You think that they might be excited. They probably see something interesting because. And then we can explain body language. All the modal verbs. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, must, might, in the forms of be. Okay? So the modal verbs will help you express what you think might be happening. Also past modal verbs. Might have, must have. They must have seen something. They might be looking at something interesting. Okay? So let's take a look at what that looks like. They might be excited about what they are seeing because, and here's where we explain, their body language. She's leaning forward and smiling while talking into the phone. They could have seen something they liked because they probably just saw something of interest because. Perhaps they are looking at good news online because. All of these four are examples of what's called speculation. Can you speculate on a picture and make a story of what's happening? It doesn't have to be true. It just has to show your ability to look inside and have some insight. So let's put it all together based on the 4 points that we talked about. Here's what it looks like. And this is, again, for you to be able to speak for at least 30 seconds up to 90 seconds. Let's take a look. This image shows a man and a woman looking at a computer sitting outside on a balcony, and they appear to be excited. In the background of this image, there are beautiful green trees that cover the area, and the weather looks pleasant and warm. In front of the trees, a black fence surrounds the porch in which they sit. The man is wearing a gray jacket and a blue shirt, while the woman next to him is wearing overalls and a white t-shirt. A glass of water sits on the table next to their laptop. They probably just saw something of interest because the man is leaning forward with a satisfied look on his face, while the woman, talking on the phone, has a bright smile and is putting her arm on his shoulder.
I hope those 4 points helped, and we'll see you in the next video.